Scorpio, welcome. This is your horoscope for April 9th, 2026, and I'm truly glad you're here with me in this moment. I've taken time to tune into your energy today, and what's coming through feels quiet but important, like something shifting just beneath the surface of your awareness. Thank you for being here, for your presence, your energy, and the way you continue to show up for yourself, even on the days that feel heavier than usual. Your likes, your comments, your connection here, it all creates a space where these messages can reach you more clearly, more directly, almost like they were always meant to find you. So if you feel called, stay with me for this reading, because if you've landed here today, there's a strong sense that this message is meeting you at the exact moment you need a little more clarity, a little more direction, or simply a reminder of what you already feel deep down. Scorpio, today carries a subtle but powerful energy of adjustment. Not dramatic change, not sudden upheaval, but a quiet realignment, the kind that asks you to pause and notice where your energy has been going and whether it truly belongs there. There's something about today that invites you to become more aware of what you're holding, and more importantly, why you've been holding it for so long. You may have been carrying more than your share lately, taking on responsibilities, emotions, or expectations that slowly began to weigh on your body and mind. And today, that weight becomes more visible, not to overwhelm you, but to help you see what is ready to be shifted, softened, or released. At the same time, there is a quiet reminder moving through your energy, that you are still the one in control of your path. You get to choose how you respond, what you continue, and what you gently begin to let go of. That sense of agency returns to you today in a calm, steady way. Scorpio, if you're ready to receive what today has for you, comment 444 below, and let's step into the rest of this message together. You might notice it early in the day, a subtle heaviness before anything even begins. Tasks line up in your mind, messages to answer, responsibilities waiting, and there's this quiet pressure building, as if everything is asking for your attention at once. As the hours move forward, that feeling becomes more defined. You try to stay on top of everything, switching from one thing to another, holding details in your head, making sure nothing slips. And somewhere in between, your energy starts to thin out. Not suddenly, but gradually, like you're being stretched across too many directions at the same time. This isn't just about being busy. There's a deeper layer to it, a tendency to take ownership of things that extend beyond your actual role, to carry what others leave unspoken, to keep everything steady, even when it costs you more than it should. That quiet habit of stepping in, of holding things together, has become so natural that you rarely question it. Today, that pattern becomes visible. Not in a harsh way, but in a way that gently asks you to pause and notice where your energy is going. Because the truth is, you're managing multiple emotional and mental threads at once, and your system is signaling that it's time to rebalance. There's also something else moving beneath this, a strong need for control. When things feel uncertain, you instinctively try to organize, fix, or anticipate outcomes before they unfold. It gives a sense of stability, a sense that you're staying ahead, yet it quietly adds more weight to what you're already carrying. And this is where today begins to shift for you. The energy around you isn't asking you to push harder, it's guiding you toward simplification, toward choosing what actually matters in this moment and allowing the rest to loosen its grip. You don't need to hold every piece together for everything to function. Start small. One priority, one decision, one task that truly needs your attention. Let the rest exist without immediate action. There's a different kind of strength in that, a steady, grounded kind that comes from knowing where to place your energy instead of scattering it. You may also feel a quiet resistance to this idea. A part of you is used to doing everything on your own, used to being the one others rely on. Letting something go, even temporarily, can feel unfamiliar. Yet today carries an opportunity to experience what it feels like to share the weight, even if only slightly. Support can show up in subtle ways: a conversation, a helping hand, or even a moment where you simply allow yourself to step back. You don't have to announce it or explain it fully. Just recognizing that everything doesn't rest on you creates space for your energy to return. As you move through the day, notice how your body responds when you ease that pressure, even a little. There's a sense of alignment waiting there, something quieter, more sustainable. It's not about doing less for the sake of it, but about doing what actually matters with more clarity. And as that clarity begins to settle in, your attention naturally shifts inward, toward your emotional world, your intuition, and the subtle signals you've been feeling beneath the surface all along, leading you gently into the next layer of this reading, where your inner landscape begins to speak more clearly. As the day continues, your inner world begins to speak in a softer, more layered way. Not loud, not overwhelming, but present. There's a sensitivity in your emotional field today that feels different, almost like everything is being felt a little more deeply, a little more personally than usual. You may find certain memories rising without a clear reason. A conversation from the past, a feeling you thought had already settled, or even a familiar sense of uncertainty that seems to return quietly. It doesn't arrive to disrupt you. It surfaces to be seen in a new light. What you're experiencing isn't entirely about what's happening right now. There's an echo moving through your system, something carried over from earlier experiences, still holding a subtle imprint in your emotional body. And today, that imprint becomes easier to notice, not as something heavy, but as something ready to be understood. There's a part of you, a younger version of you, that once learned how to respond to certain situations by protecting, withdrawing, or questioning your own worth. That part still exists within you, not as a weakness, but as a layer of memory that occasionally colors how you feel in the present moment. And today, instead of reacting immediately, you begin to pause. You notice the feeling before attaching meaning to it. You allow it to exist without rushing to fix it, and in that space, something shifts. A quiet sense of awareness begins to take shape. Your intuition is especially active right now, though it doesn't push or demand attention. It moves in a much calmer way, almost like a steady undercurrent beneath everything else you feel. When your mind slows down even slightly, you can sense it guiding you in subtle directions. This is why simple moments become more valuable today. A walk without distractions, a pause between tasks, a few minutes where you're not trying to solve anything. These spaces allow your inner voice to become clearer. It's in the quiet that your guidance organizes itself. You may also notice how your creativity begins to open in small ways. Not necessarily through something big or expressive, but through how you think, how you imagine, how you begin to see possibilities where there was once hesitation. That shift comes from reconnecting with a part of yourself that feels safe to explore again. There's no need to force clarity right now. It arrives naturally when you give yourself room to feel without pressure. The more you stay present with what's coming up, the more you begin to recognize which emotions belong to the past and which ones are guiding you forward. And as this inner landscape becomes more settled, your attention starts to extend outward again, toward the way you connect, respond, and open yourself within your relationships, leading gently into the next layer where your interactions with others begin to reflect these internal shifts. As your focus begins to move outward again, the way you connect with others carries a slightly different tone today. Softer, more aware, more intentional. There's a subtle shift in how you respond, almost like you're observing the interaction while also being inside it. If you're in a relationship, you may notice moments where you pause before reacting. Something that once triggered a quick emotional response now feels easier to hold, to understand, to see from a wider perspective. That pause changes everything because it opens space for real listening instead of assumption. Conversations today have the potential to feel more grounded when you allow that space to exist. You begin to notice not just what is being said, but what sits underneath it. Tone, intention, unspoken needs. And when you respond from that awareness, the connection naturally softens and deepens at the same time. There's also a quiet invitation here to offer more presence. Small gestures, attention to detail, or simply being fully there in a moment carries more weight than grand expressions. It's in these subtle exchanges that healing begins to take place, not through effort, but through consistency. If you've been carrying tension or distance within a relationship, today opens a window where things can feel lighter. Not because everything is suddenly resolved, but because you are approaching it differently. You're less focused on proving a point and more attuned to creating understanding. For those of you who are single, your energy is becoming more noticeable to others in a quiet but magnetic way. It's not about trying to attract attention, it's about the way you carry yourself when you feel more aligned internally. That alignment naturally draws interest without force. You may sense someone observing you or feeling drawn to your presence, even if nothing is spoken directly. There's a curiosity around you, a sense that others are trying to understand what makes your energy feel so steady yet intriguing. And this creates the possibility for a new connection to begin forming. At the same time, your own standards are shifting. You're less interested in connections that feel uncertain or inconsistent, and more aware of what actually feels good to stay in. This awareness becomes a quiet filter, guiding you toward interactions that match your current state. There is, however, a gentle reminder moving through your relational space today. Not every signal is as clear as it seems on the surface. Sometimes, attraction or attention can carry mixed intentions or incomplete honesty, and your awareness helps you sense that without needing full proof. You begin to notice when something feels slightly off, even if everything looks fine externally. That subtle feeling matters. It's not about creating doubt, it's about maintaining clarity, allowing yourself to stay open while also staying grounded in what you feel. This balance between openness and discernment becomes one of your strengths today. You're able to connect, to feel, to engage, while still holding a clear sense of yourself within those interactions. And that changes the entire dynamic of how others experience you as well. As these patterns continue to reveal themselves through your connections, your attention naturally starts to shift again. This time toward the practical areas of your life, where decisions around work, money, and stability begin to reflect the same clarity you're building within. As your attention shifts into the more practical areas of your day, you may start to notice how many possibilities are sitting in front of you at once. Opportunities, decisions, small openings. They seem to appear almost simultaneously, creating a sense of pressure to choose quickly, to act before something passes you by. In your work or career space, there's a strong indication of movement. A new idea, a potential offer, or even a shift in direction begins to take shape, and it carries a certain level of promise. At the same time, that forward motion asks for clarity, because not every opportunity needs an immediate yes. You may feel the urge to move fast, to secure something before it changes, yet today invites a different approach. Slowing your response allows you to see details that would otherwise remain hidden. The more grounded you are in your decision-making, the more aligned the outcome becomes. There's also an awareness growing around how you've been approaching your efforts. You begin to recognize that it isn't about doing more, but about choosing more precisely. That shift alone starts to change how your work unfolds, bringing a sense of direction that feels steadier and more intentional. Financially, there are signs of gradual improvement, even if it shows up in subtle ways. A delayed payment, an unexpected opportunity, or advice that leads you toward better decisions begins to enter your space. This creates a feeling of relief as if things are slowly finding their balance again. At the same time, your relationship with money becomes more visible to you. You may notice moments where spending is driven more by emotion than by actual need. A quick decision, a temporary desire, something that feels good in the moment. Today gives you the awareness to pause before acting on that impulse. That pause becomes powerful. It allows you to stay connected to your longer-term stability instead of reacting to short-term feelings. And as you practice that awareness, your financial energy begins to feel more controlled, more stable, more aligned with where you actually want to go. When it comes to your health, your body is communicating in a very direct but quiet way. Small signals, subtle fatigue, or shifts in your energy levels begin to stand out more clearly. These aren't interruptions, they are indicators, guiding you back toward balance. Giving yourself space to rest, even briefly, has a noticeable effect today. A short break, a moment to breathe, or simply stepping away from constant activity allows your system to reset. Your body responds quickly when you listen, and that response creates a sense of calm that carries into everything else. Alongside all of this, there is a layer of caution moving through your day. Not everything presented to you is fully transparent, and some information may arrive incomplete or slightly misaligned. This doesn't create a problem, it simply calls for awareness. You may sense that something feels slightly off before you can explain why. That feeling is worth paying attention to. Taking a second look, asking one more question, or giving yourself time before trusting what you hear helps you stay grounded in truth. What becomes clear through all of this is that the opportunities around you are real, the progress is present, and the movement is happening. The difference lies in how you respond to each moment, with pressure or with clarity. And as you begin to choose with more intention, the entire day starts to feel more stable, more directed, more in your control, gently leading you into a closing energy where everything you've experienced begins to settle into a clearer understanding. As the day begins to settle, there's a quiet sense that something within you has shifted. Not in a dramatic way, but in a way that feels more grounded, more aligned with where you truly are right now. The pressure that once felt constant starts to loosen, and in its place, a clearer rhythm begins to take form. You may look back on the day and notice how your responses changed in small but meaningful ways. The moments where you paused, where you chose differently, where you allowed yourself a little more space. Those moments carry more weight than they seem at first glance. They mark a subtle return to yourself. What stands out now isn't how much you did, but how you moved through it. There's a steadiness growing, a sense that you no longer need to rush every decision or carry every outcome on your own. That realization settles into your system quietly, creating a kind of internal balance that feels both new and familiar. Clarity today hasn't come from forcing answers. It's arrived through awareness, through noticing what matters and what can gently fall away. And in that process, you begin to trust your own timing a little more, your own pace, your own way of navigating what's in front of you. Scorpio, there's something powerful in this softer approach, something that allows you to stay connected to your direction without exhausting yourself along the way. You're still moving forward, still evolving, but with a sense of control that comes from within, not from pressure around you. As you carry this energy forward, it continues to shape how you see things, how you choose, how you respond. It doesn't need to be rushed or pushed. It simply continues naturally as you stay present with yourself and the path unfolding ahead. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like, share, or subscribe. It helps keep this space open for messages like this to reach you. And Scorpio, if you feel aligned with this energy today, comment, "I stay aligned today," below, and let that intention move with you into what comes next.